We do begin with some breaking news right now at 5 o'clock. We've just learned an officer was involved in an accident in downtown Louisville. We're told that officer works with the Jefferson County Youth Center and did have 2 juveniles in her car when that crash happened. It happened right after 4 o'clock at the corner of 6th and Liberty, again in downtown Louisville. So we do want to give you a live look at this scene with our crew there watching. You can see there is an overturned vehicle and then that white SUV right there. That's the one that the officer was driving. According to LMPD, that officer was taking those 2 juveniles from the downtown facility to Adair County. Police say her vehicle was hit by a blue crossover that's accused of running a red light. You can see in the bottom right of your screen there, that blue vehicle is flipped. The youth center officer was taken to University Hospital where she is expected to survive. Police telling us that she was unconscious after she was hit, but is since doing better and has regained consciousness. Those 2 juveniles were taken to the Children's Hospital complaining of knee pain. The driver of the blue crossover was not injured, but police are asking you to avoid this area while they work this investigation and get it all cleaned up. As soon as we learn anything new, we'll give you an update. You can see we've got a crew on the scene keeping an eye on it. And another big story right here at 5 o'clock. It is severe weather season across Kentuckiana, and we do have several systems moving our way. What you're looking at right now is a future look at what's coming in tonight. So let's get right to meteorologist Colleen Peterson. Colleen, what's the timing for tonight?
I think it's going to be 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. That's when we'll start to see the rain. Thankfully, Shay, the risk for seeing some stronger storms is at the lower end of that scale. That higher risk is mainly off into the northern and central plains, where in fact they're actually seeing a tornado warning in place in that area. Zooming on in closer to us, it's a level 1. In fact, if you live far south of Bardstown or into eastern Kentucky, you're not even under risk. That line will continue to weaken, so that's why it's kind of downgrading as it crosses Illinois, and then as it heads towards Indiana and Kentucky. It might even just be rain. We might not even see lightning with this system. So this is that front that's going to push through right now. We are seeing some warnings along it, but they have the ingredients. They have the warmth in the afternoon, the timing overnight. It is just going to continue to weaken. In fact, over St. Louis right now, not seeing any warnings in place, so that's a good sign. I'm going to keep my eyes on it as it moves its way towards our area, and hopefully it continues to weaken, which it likely will. So looking at that forecast model, a little bit slower than what we showed you about a minute ago. We're starting to see that rain enter around 1 o'clock in the morning, some heavy downpours crossing the metro around 2, 3 o'clock. And then by the time we head towards 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, if you head out to the bus stop and you live south and southeast of Louisville, it's probably going to be wet. In Indiana, you'll probably get some clearing at that time, but just keep in mind we might have some thunderstorms out there early tomorrow morning, or even just some widespread rain. That will be clearing out. And Wednesday is trending mostly dry, but then we have more chances of seeing storms as we head towards the afternoon and then Thursday night. It is just the spring-like setup where each day we have those chances of seeing some thunderstorms, especially when we have this kind of heat out there. We're at 85 degrees right now, warming up, 84 in Fort Knox. Really nice evening. You don't have to worry about that rain until past 8 p.m. And really it's around 2 o'clock where it's going to be pretty wet when most of us are asleep. I'm talking more about those impacts and what you can expect for your week ahead coming up. Jay?
All right, Colleen, thank you. Tonight, JCPS will host their first school board meeting since that controversial transportation plan was announced. It comes just 1 week after the vote made it official. And still, parents are loaded with questions about what this means for them. Jose Alonso tells us more about how a local nonprofit is following the developments and working hard to make sure their community is informed.
The Americana World Community Center has been keeping a close eye on the changes coming to JCPS's transportation system. I spoke with the mother of 5 children who says this organization is keeping her and other non-English speaking residents updated. Louisville Casun works at the center and is one of the many single mothers concerned with their jobs and making sure their kids get to school. She moved her family from Guatemala 5 years ago for better opportunities. But like other mothers in Louisville, she's been trying to keep up with so many changes.
Not all jobs will give families permission to pick up their kids. Not every person understands you are responsible for getting your kids on or off the bus. It's more difficult for single moms.
Rihandi Fundi with the center says they've been attending every JCPS meeting to make sure every parent, regardless of language barriers, knows what's happening. Americana hopes to collaborate with JCPS to ease some of the transportation issues by making the Americana a destination where students can be dropped off, attend their after-school programs, and then let working parents like Kasun come pick them up later. In Louisville, Jose Alonso, WHAS11 on your side.
Representatives from the Americana Center will continue to attend every meeting they tell us. Again, the next one's tonight at 6 o'clock at the Van Hoos Education Center. And city leaders are looking for solutions to the JCPS transportation issues after parents were frustrated with the school board's decision to cut bus routes to certain magnet schools. In a press conference on Monday, they presented ideas. Mayor Craig Greenberg said they will have a meeting this week between TARC and JCPS, hoping to give drivers the opportunity to work with the district. Metro Council members hope by working together, they can find a new solution. And Dr. Robbie Fletcher is officially Kentucky's new Commissioner of Education. The state Senate approved him on Monday, which was the last day of the session. It's the first time a commissioner has had to go through the approval process after a new law went into effect last year. Fletcher served as the Lawrence County Superintendent in Eastern Kentucky since 2014. He begins his new role on July the 1st. With the session ending for the legislature, Kentucky Democrats and Republicans are reflecting on the work they did or didn't do. So here's some things the legislature did pass. Governor Randy Beshear proposed an 11% pay raise for teachers in his budget. It was actually cut down to 9% by the lawmakers over 2 years. Also, decisions on teacher pay raises would now be left up to local school boards. And a measure both sides could agree on was tax cuts. A tax package cut income tax to 4% and calls for a rate drop depending on Kentucky meeting revenue targets. But when it comes to what didn't happen, abortion was at the top of the list for Democrats.
Governor Beshear asked us to be good neighbors. Instead, this extreme GOP caucus continues to pursue a radical and out of touch and often cruel agenda.
But Republicans say there were many measures in their legislation this session that did help support young families, including lowering income taxes, so people have more money in their pockets. A controversial piece of legislation passed by the Republican majority was the Safer Kentucky Act. The act, some critics believe it will target people who are homeless, making camping in public places illegal. But Majority Leader Damon Thayer emphasized why Louisville was a focus this session.
Quite frankly, what we're seeing coming out of there is it's not working. It's not satisfactory. And there are some people from Jefferson County who say, leave us alone, we can figure it out. But that's not how it works. You don't get to get all the money that gets sent to you from the General Assembly without input on your policies from the General Assembly.
About $100 million were approved for Louisville in the budget to be used in downtown projects, including the community care campus. Right now, the community of Washington County is gathering to remember Cairo Jordan. That's the 5-year-old whose body was found in a suitcase in southern Indiana 2 years ago. They held a vigil this afternoon. A mushroom hunter found that suitcase in the woods in Washington County. Police arrested Don Coleman and Cairo's mother, Dijon Anderson, in connection to his death. Coleman pleaded guilty in exchange for 25 years in prison. Anderson has now been ordered to undergo a mental evaluation to determine if she's competent to stand trial. Right now, that community is hosting that memorial service right at the gravesite in Salem, Indiana. That's what you're looking at here. We are there and we'll bring you updates tonight on WHAS 11 News at 6. Police say they have no suspects after a deadly shooting in Shively. It happened just before midnight on Appleton Lane, close to Dixie Highway. The victim's a man in his early 20s. We're told he was taken to the hospital and that's where he died. If you do know anything that can help Shively police, give them a call. You see the number on your screen. It's 502-930-2SPD. Right now, LMPD is investigating after a bicyclist was hit and killed overnight. It happened shortly after 12:30 this morning near the intersection of Preston Highway and Durrett Lane. According to witness statements, a driver of a black pickup truck hit a woman on a bike and failed to stop to render aid. She died at the scene. Police say a short time later they got a call from a man who said he'd been involved in a crash, and police believe that man was the driver of the truck. Charges are now pending. Right now, Metro Louisville leaders and FOP leaders are working to finalize 2 contracts for our first responders. The 120 pages of collective bargaining agreements address issues like working conditions, job benefits, and raising police salaries. Ahead of the council's vote, the community was able to address the Public Safety Committee to share both criticism and support. If both proposals pass Metro Council, all LMPD officers and sergeants will see an immediate 7% boost in pay. Another round of raises would go into effect in July, bringing starting officer pay to $60,000 a year. As of April 2nd, LMPD says the department is short 280 officers. Some are now hopeful this new contract could recruit more officers.
This department is far different than it was 25 years ago. You know, I want to see change take place. I want to see good officers be compensated, and I want to see bad officers gone.
Others are asking the council to send that contract back.
LMPD has done nothing to earn additional funding and increased power to investigate themselves while they continue to commit these crimes against the citizens of our city.
The mayor's office and FOP both signed off on the contract last Monday. A statement from Mayor Craig Greenberg's office says in part, quote, "These 2 collective bargaining agreements set forth a new standard to better support our first responders and the families across our city who depend on them." Today, we're getting a better look at how opioid settlement money could be distributed across Louisville. Right now, there's $5.3 million left to be distributed. In total, Louisville received more than $7 million. $2 million of that has already been approved by Metro Council to be used primarily in saving lives. The mayor shared his recommendations on where the second round of money should go.
These projects will engage more than 18,000 people across our city whose lives have been negatively impacted by opioid addiction.
The mayor says the money will fund 21 projects, ranging from families who need treatment and recovery support to the houseless community and addiction prevention programs for our youth. These expenditures must be approved by Metro Council before the money can be awarded. And today, you could win a shot at tickets to the 150th Kentucky Derby, all while supporting a good cause. It is the WHAS Crusade for Children Kentucky Derby Raffle-thon. Right now, our phone bank is ready and taking your calls. Each raffle ticket just costs $50, and get this, the top prize is 6 tickets to the Kentucky Derby this year. Second prize, 2 tickets to the Derby Museum Gala. Or third prize, a brand new ice machine with a Kroger gift card, making your Derby party possible. The Crusade's only selling 1,000 raffle tickets, so you do want to get your spot right now. Call the number on your screen. You can see our call takers there, ready to pick up the phone and get you your ticket. You can also scan the QR code there. And here in just a few minutes, we're going to be talking with a member of the Kentucky Derby Museum all about that gala, one of those excellent prizes you could soon win.